We'd like to know the origin story in your district. Rich, could you pick up on that for us?
Absolutely, and thank you for asking. A couple of years ago, my colleague Mark Wise and I were talking, and we were looking for a way that we could, help solidify and norm instruction across professional learning communities at grade levels, 6th, 7th, and 8th, biology, chemistry, physics, for example, and help make sure that teachers are, with a greater degree of fidelity, following the curricular scope and sequence. And he recommended storyboarding. Share with me your article and resources. And of course, I dove into that, and I worked with my teacher resource specialist for science. We developed a professional development program to begin to teach our curriculum teams how best to design storyboarding. Because in addition to norming instruction and ensuring curricular fidelity, we're looking for an appropriate and convenient way to showcase our curricular story with our parents. What is your child going to be experiencing when they're in our courses, right? Mm-hmm. So the storyboard became a nice, quick, abstract, colorful, artistic billboard, quite frankly, which leans in the reader and helps us communicate that message right away, very quickly, very clearly, logically, and sequentially. And it provided a palette, quite frankly, with which we can share that experience and share that picture and engineer that progression.
Thank you. And we appreciate that as the initial contributors. One quick follow-up here. There's the initial spark. How did it spread? Because you have something going on systemically, and it's one of the reasons we want to work with everybody. Any additional thoughts on that?
When we shared the primary storyboards with our other PLCs, and of course, having them use those with the initial group of parents of back to school night with students in class, we found that the connection was instantaneous. The students and parents leaned right in. Wow, what is that? Let me ask my questions here. This is really cool. And it really spoke curriculum by itself. It just really had its own language and around which the teachers were able to talk. So it just took on an energy all its own. And the storyboard became a very powerful tool for us to quite frankly, tell the story. And we're going to intend to continue to expand that, not just with our AP courses, but any new curriculum we have coming online. That storyboard becomes the way to work through our way to the standards. And it really helps us to orchestrate that.
So when you're starting to think about the impact that it had, Rich, for you from a science perspective, other folks that are joining the conversation right now, when did you first initially take a look at storyboards as an idea? Was it something that you saw based on some of the generative ideas that the science group was doing, or were you all in more on the early side? Can you just paint a picture for folks as well?
I would say I was a little bit on the early side, along with my colleague for K-5 Math, Dr. Melissa Pearson, who's not on this call, but she and I had spoken about storyboards along with Mark at the same time, really in his office one afternoon, and it just drew me in. It just said, "This is what I've been looking for. This is the connection I needed. This is the wire on which I'm going to send curricular energy, so that my teachers are going to be teaching." And having a map, okay, here's your recipe, here's your story, here's your congruent palette on which to paint that experience for kids, but also to help make sure that they feel, okay, this is clarity, right? I used to teach in a different direction, or I used to follow the units in a different sequence, and now here's the picture. Here's exactly the plan I'm supposed to follow, and it provided me, quite frankly, as the supervisor and as the administrator, with a measure of support and an expectation that this is how the story is going to be told.